So you've probably seen this floating around the internet. It's Naval Ravikant's incredible guide to building wealth. We've gone ahead and distilled all his core ideas into a really practical framework that, you can actually use to build your own wealth. And the best part? No luck required.
Okay, let's just start with the biggest idea right off the bat. This whole thing isn't about getting a Lambo or a giant yacht. According to Naval, the real point of wealth is so much simpler and, honestly, way more powerful. It's freedom. Plain and simple. The freedom to wake up and decide what your day looks like, who you spend it with, and what you work on.
But if the goal is freedom, why do so many people who chase wealth end up feeling, well, trapped? It's usually because they're mixing up real wealth with two other things: money and status.
And this right here is the key difference. See, wealth isn't just about having a big bank account. True wealth is owning assets that are out there working for you, even while you're sleeping. Think about a business that's making sales online or a piece of software that people are using around the clock. Money, that's just the tool we use to move that wealth around. And status, well, that's just your rank in the social pecking order. And that, my friends, is a very dangerous trap.
This little distinction actually leads us to a massive choice we all have to make. In life, there are basically two big games you can play. And most people, they don't even realize they're stuck playing the wrong one.
So, seriously, take a second and think about this for yourself. When you go about your day, is your main focus on creating something new, something valuable? Or are you kind of caught up in office politics, trying to climb some ladder by one-upping the person next to you? That choice, right there, determines everything.
Okay, so the wealth game is what we call a positive sum game. If you create an amazing new product, that's brand new value in the world. Everyone can win. But the status game, that's a zero-sum game. For you to be number one, somebody else has to be number two. Politics, most sports, they're classic examples. For you to win, someone else has to lose.
And that brings us to one of Naval's most famous lines. If you spend your whole life playing these status games, trying to tear other people down just to get ahead, what's the prize? Usually, it's just social approval, likes, fancy titles, a pat on the back. And that stuff is ultimately worthless when it comes to getting you real freedom.
All right, so let's say we're committed to playing the wealth game. How do we actually win without just, getting lucky? Well, Naval has this amazing idea that luck isn't just some random thing that happens to you. It's actually something you can create. You can engineer it.
He breaks it down into 4 different types. First, you've got blind luck. That's just pure chance, winning the lottery kind of stuff. Then there's luck from persistence. This is where you're just out there, hustling, stirring the pot, and by sheer activity, you create opportunities. The third type is spotting luck. This is where you become such an expert in your field that you can see an opportunity that no one else can. But the fourth is the most powerful. This is the kind of luck that finds you, where you've built such a unique reputation that opportunities are just drawn to you like a magnet.
And this is the absolute heart of it. The highest form of luck isn't random at all. It's when someone somewhere has a very specific, difficult problem and they seek you out because you are the one person in the world who can solve it. You didn't just stumble upon the opportunity. You built a character so distinct that the opportunity had no choice but to come to you.
So how do you do that? How do you build that kind of unique character? How do you actually engineer this kind of luck? Well, it all comes down to a practical toolkit made of 4 skills that all work together. They are specific knowledge, accountability, leverage, and judgment. Let's really break down what each of these means one by one. First up is specific knowledge. Now, this isn't something you can get from a textbook or a lecture. It's that unique skill set you build from your own genuine curiosity, your obsessions. It's the thing that feels like play to you, but looks like hard work to everybody else. And it's usually something so creative or technical that you just can't automate it.
Next on the list is accountability. This is all about taking risks publicly, with your own name attached to it. It's definitely scary because if things go south, you take the blame, but it's also the only way to get the credit, the equity, and the trust when things go right. You've got to have skin in the game.
Third, we have leverage. Think of leverage as a force multiplier for your work. The old school forms of leverage were labor, having people work for you, and capital, which is just money. But today, the new forms of leverage are infinitely more powerful.
I mean, just look at this chart. The new types of leverage, things like code and media, they absolutely dwarf the old ones. The amazing thing is, you don't need anyone's permission to write a blog, or start a YouTube channel, or build an app. This is the leverage of the new rich.
And that brings us to the final piece, judgment.
Because when you have access to infinite leverage, your judgment becomes the single most critical skill. It's not about working harder anymore. It's about making better decisions. And that takes experience and the ability to see things as they really are without your emotions getting in the way.
Okay, so we've got specific knowledge, accountability, leverage, and judgment. How do we put all these pieces together? Well, they all point to one ultimate strategy for success in the modern world.
And here's the big punchline. Don't try to be the best. Be the only. If you can build a business around your unique, specific knowledge and your genuine passions, you literally have no competition. Why? Because no one else on the entire planet has your specific blend of experiences, skills, and obsessions.
And this is why, right now, is probably the best time in all of human history to build wealth. The internet makes it possible to take that weird, unique thing you're into, scale it up with leverage like media or code, and find your exact audience, no matter where they are on the planet.
So that leaves us with one final big question. In a world where the real path to wealth is to stop competing and just be more yourself, what unique value are you going to create? What is the thing that only you can bring to the table?